side do we stand? Blue and red politics. Only states, the facts.
Blue and red politics. Blue and red politics. Blue and red politics. Blue and red politics.
Real discussions, real opinions, real news. With Arvon Gregory.
All right. Strap in. We're walking through another White House briefing where the podium's acting bold and the facts are acting shy. And the contradictions hit harder than the subway brakes in the blackout. Everything you're about to see comes straight from the same room, same mic, same day, but somehow we end up with 6 different stories fighting for the same spotlight. Let's take this ride one clip at a time.
President Trump's pro-growth policies are making tremendous progress to make America affordable again. Under the painful Biden years, inflation reached a record high 9% and devoured Americans' purchasing power. In President Trump's term thus far, inflation has dropped to an average of just 2.7%, marking critical progress. The Trump administration is working hard every single day to bring down the cost of living through bigger paychecks and lower prices. Real wages are finally on the rise again and on pace to increase to roughly $1,200 for the average American worker this year. To put that into perspective, real wages declined by...
So here she comes, talking like inflation done clocked out early and the economy's on cruise control. Prices coming down, wages up, everything better. Shit. But anybody that's living outside that briefing room knows the real story. Groceries been climbing, and rent jogging upwards like it's training for the Olympics, and paycheck power melting like a cheap ice in August. This is that classic trick, right? Polish the stats until the shine blinds you. Hope nobody's checked what's happening at the register.
Right back up to where it was. Finally, at the border, President Trump has restored America's sovereignty and made our country safe again. This is the single greatest and fastest national security victory in modern American history, and it's not even close. The latest preliminary numbers released from the month of November show we have the most secure border in our nation's history. This is a remarkable achievement. November encounters came in even lower than the previous historic low in October, if you can believe it. There were only 30,367 total encounters nationwide. That's lower than the previous record set in October. And for the 7th consecutive month, U.S. Border Patrol released 0 illegal aliens into the United States. Let me repeat, 7 months of 0 illegal aliens being released into our country. This is a historic achievement, and it's one that every law-abiding American citizen should be grateful for. At this point, in 10 months under President Trump's unmatched leadership, we've seen less apprehensions overall than we saw in just 1 month under Joe Biden. Again, let me repeat, in 10 months under President Trump, we've seen less apprehensions at the southern border than we saw in 1 month under the previous.
Okay, then she pivots hard into most secure border in history. Now, that's the kind of lie you hear from a guy that's like selling watches outside of his coat. You know, like he sound confident, and just for the first glance, it looks official, but you know it's a little bit more to that story. This is way more complicated, you know. Now, these numbers, they are cherry-picked numbers, selective charts, and none of the messy context about asylum, enforcement, or how we can even measure secure. It's security theater with like a spotlight and an audience that's supposed to clap on command.
Drugs, or is it about oil?
What I will tell you, Peter, is that the Trump administration is focused on doing many things in the Western Hemisphere. The president has taken a new approach that has not been taken by any administration for quite some time to actually focus on what's going on in our own backyard. And there are 2 things that are very important to this administration. Number one, stopping the flow of illegal drugs into the United States of America, which we know has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. The president promised on the campaign trail that he would demolish the foreign terrorist organizations and drug cartels around the world, especially right here in our own hemisphere, and you have seen that he is delivering on that promise. With respect to the oil and what happened yesterday, the Department of Justice requested and was approved for a warrant to seize a vessel because it's a sanctioned shadow vessel known for carrying black market sanctioned oil to the IRGC, which you know is a sanctioned entity. So the president is committed to stopping the illegal flow of drugs into our country. He's also fully committed to effectuating this administration's sanction policy, and that's what you saw and the world saw take place yesterday.
And because you said the president is trying to do a lot of things at once, he talks a lot about how he thinks the way to bring down prices for everything would be to bring down the cost of energy. Would he use this seized Venezuelan oil to try to help Americans with affordability here in the United States?
Well, what I can tell you right now, the vessel has been seized, as you know. And the Department of Justice did that in conjunction with the Coast Guard and the Department of War. The vessel is currently undergoing a forfeiture process right now. The United States currently has a full investigative team on the ground on the vessel, and individuals on board the vessel are being interviewed and any relevant evidence is being seized. With respect to the oil, that's a different issue. As you know, Peter, the vessel will go to a U.S. port, and the United States does intend to seize the oil. However, there is a legal process for the seizure of that oil, and that legal process will be followed.
And just my last one on
Now watch this tone whiplash. Earlier, official hyped it as like some action movie bust. Americans swooped in and grabbed the oil like contraband. But suddenly, here at the mic, it's legal process. Due diligence? The courts will handle it. Funny how these fast, big talks turn into paperwork when the cameras roll. That street swagger evaporates the minute someone's asking for details.
Will expire at the end of the year. It means more than 20 million Americans are now bracing for their health care costs to soar. Is the president prepared to let this happen, or is he going to step in?
The president is prepared to take action on health care, and he wants Republicans on the Hill to do the same. As you have seen, Senate Republicans put forth their own legislation earlier this week. As for the subsidies that are set to expire, I would like to remind you and everybody at home why this is on the brink of happening. Democrats wrote Obamacare. They passed it without a single Republican vote, and then they ballooned it with these expensive COVID subsidies that completely distorted the health insurance market. And then they doubled down, extending those subsidies and setting their own expiration date right now in 2025, which the administration is obviously well aware of, and we are working. The president is working with his healthcare policy team here at the White House, as well as Republicans on Capitol Hill, to find a solution.
You said he's working to find a solution. He wants to see a solution to lower health care costs.
He does.
But these subsidies are expiring at the end of the year. So what is the plan, and what is he going to do to put this in place in the next 2-3 weeks?
You'll hear more from the president and from the White House on that very soon. As for wanting a solution to lower healthcare costs, I'm glad you said it, because the president is doing just that. He has made unprecedented progress towards lowering healthcare costs in this country and drug prices. He's secured numerous most favored nation drug price deals, with many more to come. As you know, the One Big Beautiful Bill, the working family tax cut, significantly expanded access to health savings accounts for those on Obamacare. Again, a Democrat written program and approved program, which has led to higher healthcare costs in this country. So it goes back to the issue of affordability. Democrats are now pretending they want a solution to this issue, but they created the problem. The president and Republicans are currently coming up with creative solutions and ideas to lower healthcare costs for the American people, and you'll continue to hear more from them on that.
For these.
And look, here she promises solutions and change coming soon. That promise should be printed on a bumper sticker. It's the national anthem of political procrastination. Costs are rising, coverage is fragile, people are stressed, and the answer is always, soon. If soon fixed anything, insurance would be free and the ER would hand out smoothies.
The economy is as strong as the president has said it is, then why is he telling parents 2 weeks before Christmas that they should only buy 2 or 3 dolls for their children?
Look, what the president is saying is that if we want products made right here in America, if we want them to be made from American small businesses, which is a large part of the reason the president has effectively implemented tariffs, then we're going to have better quality products right here in the United States. Maybe you'll pay $1 or $2 more, but you will get better quality and you'll be supporting your fellow Americans by buying American, and that's what the president was saying. Again, with respect to affordability, every economic metric, Caitlin, and I wish you would report more on it, does in fact show that the economy is getting better and brighter than where it was under the previous administration. I will repeat, inflation as measured by the overall CPI has slowed to an average 2.5% pace. Real wages are increasing, roughly $1,200 for the average worker. Gas prices are down in almost every single state across the country. Again, in 22 states, it's below $275. You look at the tax cuts, those are going to go into effect next year. So the best is yet to come. The president is digging our country out of the economic hole that the previous administration put us in, and that's what he's talking about.
All right. Look, this part right here is like pure performance. A reporter brings up parents who can't buy toys this year, and instead of addressing the whole affordability thing, she flips it into a patriotic PSA about buy American? What? That's not an answer. That's a Dodge dipped in red, white, and blue. Like, folks aren't struggling with nationalism. They're struggling with their bank accounts.
In the peace deal in Thailand and Cambodia and some of the conflicts you've seen arise, reports of that in the press over the past couple of days. The president addressed it in Pennsylvania. The administration is obviously tracking this at the highest levels and is very much engaged. I spoke with Secretary Rubio about it this morning.
And will senior U.S. officials be meeting Saturday with European and Ukrainian officials to discuss the peace plan?
Look, the United States and the Trump administration continues to be very much engaged in trying to bring the Russia-Ukraine war to an end. The president had a call with Europeans yesterday. His special envoy Witkoff and his team continue to talk with both sides literally as we speak. If there is a real chance of signing a peace agreement, if we feel like those meetings are worthy of someone on the United States' time this weekend, then we will send a representative. It's still up in the air whether we believe real peace can be accomplished and we can truly move the ball forward. The president is extremely frustrated with both sides of this war, and he's sick of meetings just for the sake of meeting. He doesn't want any more talk. He wants action. He wants this war to come to an end. And the administration has spent more than 30 hours, just in the past couple of weeks, meeting with the Russians and the Ukrainians and the Europeans and speaking with them as well. So we'll see.
And finally, the peace talk tango. We're deeply involved, but we're not committing unless it's real peace. But we're still talking, but we'll see. It's diplomacy by vibes. Feels less like a strategy and more like someone checking the weather to decide if they feel like governing the day, you know? All right, so that's the tour. Same briefing, 6 stories running in 6 different directions, each one dressed like the truth, but stitched together like some patchwork hustle. You can decide for yourself what's to spin, what's shadow, and what's just noise in an echo chamber, or, you know. But if this is the new standard for clarity, then the fog is only getting thicker. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been Arvon Gregory, Blue Red Policy.